All right, we're back at it again. Some more Lakers news has been popping up. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, a lot of crap. But at the same time, it's news. So we got to talk about it. I'm your host, Ryan Ward. This is the Jello Jiggling Podcast. Don't forget, on YouTube, when I put this on YouTube, like and subscribe, please. That helps a ton, as you all know, who have channels of your own. And it's just a nice gesture. Thank you very much. Anyway, so we got an interesting little development here, a little wrinkle, which is not good in my opinion. Not good at all. I think it's the wrong direction. But Jovan Buha, who I'm all sure that you know if you follow the Lakers, he reported that the Heat are asking for Rui Hachimura, Dalton Knecht, and a first-round pick in a potential trade for Andrew Wiggins. Even when Wiggins was at the top of his game, I don't know if this is a good move. I really don't. I think it helps you defensively, but what does Wiggins do that Rui doesn't? I mean, obviously he's a better defender, but you're going to give up Connect and a first round pick for this guy? I feel like that's just a kind of a bonehead desperation move and just a move to make a move. It doesn't make much sense to me. I feel like I've heard this trade scenario a couple times, not to the specifics or details of the deal or who'd be going where, but no, please no. I just hope they don't do that. I mean, I like Wiggins, but not for that price tag. Like, that's crazy. Maybe Connect and the first round pick, or Rui in the first round pick, but not all three. It just seems too much for somebody who's not really going to move the needle much. I just don't understand what you're doing there. But that's what's brewing. And then apparently there's a historic 7-team trade being discussed between a ton of different teams. We'll have to find the teams that are involved, but Lakers are one of them. Here we go. So it's Phoenix, Houston, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Golden State, Lakers, Minnesota. Now, even though this sounds crazy and like, oh, players are going to go here and there, keep hearing that it's just minor kind of moves on top of being part of the Durant trade and potentially Dorian Finney-Smith. And then, but with the Lakers, it could mainly just be that trade that they already made to move up in the draft to get Thero in the second round, going from 55 to 45, I believe it was. So it's kind of nothing. It sounds splashy and crazy, and you throw historic on top of it, and it's going to create some buzz. And I guess that it should be in the off season and all that, but I don't think anything's going to happen in terms of a craze like LeBron being involved or something else crazy coming to LA, or Lakers sending out somebody else. But you never know. I mean, these things change at a moment's notice. Things can be altered, and I would assume, I don't know how the hell you do all that communication between 7 different teams, and throughout those 7 different teams. Oh, that's an interesting phone call. I'm getting a call from Instagram right now. But it's I'm really kind of thrown aback by that. Why are they calling me? But what was I going to say? Yeah, how's that communication work? Do they all jump on a Zoom and talk at the same time? I mean, all these guys got egos. Nobody wants to get screwed over, and nobody wants to be the donkey in the end, right? Like, what the hell were those guys thinking? But it could just be, just financials and the way that, everything works out now with the aprons and the complicated caps and all that. Maybe this is the way the future will be, where there's just more teams, there's more communication between teams. I mean, I even mentioned before, like, what if, if there's a LeBron trade, potentially it's a 3-team trade or maybe even a 4-team trade. My first thought was the Dwight Howard trade, how that got super complicated and all these names are going different places. And then Dwight coming to LA. But you just don't see that very often because teams, I think, are reluctant to work together that way, But maybe the league's changing. This is changing. It keeps changing over and over and over again. But it is an interesting wrinkle, and I am curious to see how it all pans out. It said the trade is not imminent. So That's kind of a bummer. Kind of wish this stuff would just get done rather than it getting stretched out and more things, more complicated scenarios get thrown on top. But with the Wiggins thing, I mean, I think the smart move right now, yeah, you need a guy who can play some defense on a team that there's no real standout defenders or guys that are going to be game changers on that end of the floor. But Wiggins, I mean, what is Wiggins? He's got to be, I'm going to guess, 30 at this point in his career. Let's see. I think I just spelled his name wrong. Yeah, he's 30. He's 30. So that's, and he's there's been talk of him over the last couple of years having those off the court issues where he's like away from the team for a while. I think Golden State got sick of that, and they're just like, hey, well, you know what? We need somebody who's going to be here, and so see you later. Adios to Miami, and then they got Jimmy Butler, which I still think is kind of a cool trade. And then I saw another thing too. If the Lakers are going to work on a trade with the Warriors that involves LeBron, they can just do a swap for Jimmy Butler for LeBron. I mean, I'd take that. I mean, it's still a short term thing, but it's interesting that it's just not very complicated. And then he just goes up north, and does he? Yeah, I think he does make them a little bit better. But I also think it makes the Lakers a little bit better, a little bit more gritty, better defensively. But I don't think that's going to happen. That seems like too much of a stretch. Too easy. There's nothing easy in this day and age in the NBA. So I wouldn't count on that one. I still think it's either Cleveland or New York. Dallas keeps popping up as a potential move. And I think what's the move people are talking about? I think it's Clay, Daniel Gafford, Christie, and PJ Washington in return for LeBron and Bronny. I think that's what it is. You hear different. I mean, these are all opinions. These are all, it's not what's being rumored. It's just being what's possible, more or less, or like what might the two sides be willing to just decide on. Well, this is interesting too. Looks like Valanciunas, who just got traded to Denver, which I thought was actually a good move to kind of back up Jokic, right, is nearing a stunning EuroLeague move and exiting the NBA. Well, you don't see that much. So instead of playing with Jokic, he wants to go to Europe. But maybe they're just throwing a ton of money at him. It's just odd. Valanciunas was lured by Pathana. I'm going to push the name Panathinaikos. I mean, that has obviously no effect on the Lakers, but that's just odd. You don't see that happening very often. Worth nearly 12 million euro. Well, see you later, Valanciunas. That's a guy I wanted on the Lakers before last season, but then he wasn't really good. What was it, in Washington? And then he went to Sacramento. It didn't really do anything either place. So, whatever. And then there was another thing I think that came out about Reeves potentially not liking playing with Luka because of the style they have to play, and LeBron being in that boat as well. I'll admit it's a different style of play, which is very geared around Luka. I think they play best when they do go through Luka. I think that was pretty obvious as the season progressed. Once that trade was made, he needs the ball in his hands to be successful and for the team to be successful. Okay, here's another thing. Okay, the Lakers are in talks with multiple free agents on bringing a center to Los Angeles as well to back up DeAndre Ayton. This is what I thought was going to happen. I think they've been talking trades for big men across the league with quite a few different teams and trying to just solidify that front court, because that was the goal going into this, right? Improve in the front court. God, my phone just keeps going off. Proven the front court get better defensively, which they haven't done. And where they got Laravia and they got Aiden now. I think Aiden's definitely an improvement over Jackson Hayes, but I mean, how much does he move the needle? Is he going to be a pain in the ass in the locker room? Does he have an attitude problem? Is he going to want the ball a ton when you got all these other guys that can score? I think it moves it in the right direction, but you need somebody behind him, and Jackson Hayes isn't that guy, I don't think. I think Jackson Hayes would be a backup plan, right? Like if everything falls through, they're gonna be, hey Jackson, you want to come back? Come back for one more year, maybe a year and an option for another one. So that's interesting. We'll see this is Shams apparently. We'll see between now and the next several days. Look for a potential lock in another center. Interesting. So my guess would be that center is going to come from Phoenix, and it'll probably be Nick Richards, right? What Phoenix did in the draft and then trading for Mark Williams made no sense with Nick Richards there, who they just traded for last season. So it's like, what are you doing? You're trying to have the biggest front court in the league. You can't play all three of those guys at the same time. It's I mean, I get the Malawach thing, bringing him in and developing him and making him like, your center of the future or whatever. And Mark Williams, obviously a good player. I thought, maybe the Lakers probably regretted backing out of that trade or rescinding it because, I mean, he's not the perfect. I don't know if there is a perfect ideal option. I mean, Kessler has been the one guy that's stayed on the top of my mind this entire time, but they're asking for too much. And they're asking for too much, and Danny Ainge is stubborn. That combination is not going to work. So maybe Nick Richards is not a bad move. Does it move the needle into the championship contender conversation? No. I don't know if there is a move out there that does that. Maybe if you trade LeBron and get a hell of a haul back, like I think if he goes to the Knicks and they get OG Anunoby and Bridges, that's something, right? I still think you're a step below Houston and OKC and potentially Denver, but it makes it's a little frisky, right? It's interesting. I could see that being really good basketball when it's geared around Luka and I guess Reeves too in the backcourt. I'd be curious to see how that works. In fact, that's why I keep pushing for this. Like, I think you bring LeBron back, and it's just kind of be the same thing that happened last season. It's going to be a huge distraction because it's going to be the farewell stuff. It's basically you're racing a year from Luka's chance to compete, right? And who knows if this team is going to be able to compete in the next couple of years with Luka, regardless if they don't get guys around him. But why not move off a guy who's clearly not happy right now? I mean, all signs are pointing to that direction. I mean, you even look at his social. The guy's only promoting other stuff, right? Like Amazon. I think he promoted like some rapper the other day. You heard nothing about Aiden. You didn't see LeBron talk, hey, look, welcome to LA, Aiden, or Laravia. Didn't see anything there. So he's tuned out, man. Like he could already have his bags packed and being like, I'm out. Here are the teams I want to go to. You guys make a deal. And that's it. So we could just be a waiting game for that. I mean, no one's reporting that stuff, but the way the Luka trade went down and there was just dead silence, it could be the same damn thing, and it could be an agreement between the Lakers, Rich Paul, LeBron, just, hey, look, shut up. Let's don't put anything else out there. You're just going to make it tougher for us to make a move. Just let us work on it, and we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can get you where you want to go, and then you waive that trade clause, the no trade clause, and good luck. I think there was even a report today too that something like the Lakers do want to move off of LeBron, but then again, there's only one guy said that, and I can't remember what his name was, but I think he's getting a lot of heat for it. I think he's a Phoenix guy, the guy that covers the Suns. Works like for one of the papers out there. He's a legit dude, but at the same time, um, he's getting a lot of. I mean, that's the thing with this game, right? In my profession, right? I'm not a source guy. I have some, but I don't throw it out there just to throw it out there. I think a lot of guys do that because they get paid a little bit more to do that, and I think you sell your soul a little bit. Um, but it's you just kind of lean on the guys, the dependable guys, the Shams, the Chris Haynes, the Mark Steins, Jeff Fisher seems reliable. And there's other guys I'm probably just totally spacing it on, but yeah, there's top tier guys, and then there's the middle of the ground or middle of the pack guys, and then there's guys just trying to throw crap against the wall and see if it sticks and gets buzz going, you know. But everybody, I would say, that has a decent following, has been doing this for a while, knows the ropes, goes to games or whatever. You've got people that you talk to, right? You got people you talk to, and you're informed to a certain extent. There's a lot of disinformation and the thing that goes around to create narratives and yada yada yada. But at the same time, I have heard things like even LeBron, when LeBron was coming to LA, I knew that like 6 months before it happened. Everybody knew it. It was the worst kept secret in the NBA in terms of guys that work in my field, right? It's just we all knew it. It's just it was a foregone conclusion. It just was when it was going to get announced and yada yada yada. But yeah, so there's a lot of crap rolling around, a lot of things that people throw out there. Some people just get they got one source and then they throw it out there. I mean, it's protocol to have multiple, and then kind of okay, this is lining up. Now say something, right? This could happen. And then I think a lot of times there is legit information out there, and then teams pivot. They go in a different direction, and they just make different choices, or players pivot, or they put up a stink or whatever, and things change. So you can look like a donkey. You can look like you knew what you were saying was true, but there's no way to prove it without exposing the people that are giving you the information, which you never want to do. Obviously, it's just bad practice, and it's stupid. If you're in this business, you don't do that. You don't burn people. But going back to that Austin Reeves thing, which I thought was totally out of left field. My colleague from Lakers Nation, Trevor Lane, said this morning. He said regarding the report that Austin Reeves doesn't like playing with Luka, Reeves' agent from the AMR agency had this to say: Austin has nothing but the utmost respect for Luka and truly enjoys playing alongside him. Any suggestion to the contrary is completely false. He's excited. So he's always excited to be on the court with Luka, both now and in the future. I totally believe that. I think Austin's doesn't mess around. He's a straight shooter. He doesn't BS at all. And that these guys from that agency, I actually know a couple of them. We follow each other and have had conversations, but they're good people, right? They don't throw crap out there just to throw crap out there. They're a smaller agency, but I think they're kind of growing with each passing season. I think Austin's probably a big reason for that. But yeah, I that doesn't make any sense. He's coming off the best season of his career. And I know he played, like half a season with Luka, but he still played really well alongside him, right? I mean, playoffs aside, playoffs was ugly for everyone involved, but he still played really well alongside him. He figured out how to do it. I mean, pretty impressive when it comes to Reeves. If you think about it, like he was able to play at that level alongside two generational talents, two future Hall of Famers who, I mean, the leading scorer in NBA history, and then a guy that could end up being the leading scorer in NBA history when he's all said and done, right? Who dropped what, 73 the season before last? Yeah, that's incredible. That's remarkable for an undrafted guy. Yeah, I've got nothing but respect for Reeves, and I know he wouldn't say out of place. And if he did say like I don't really, or he thought that, I think he would say it. I think that guy's, he's a stand-up dude. He would say it. But I mean, at the same time, it doesn't really help his case at all because he's going into a kind of a prove it season after declining the max extension or whatever. Um, he's going into a year he's got to prove that he's going to be worth what 40 plus million a year, and I think he can do it. I think he can do it. In fact, he'd probably benefit from LeBron being traded because then he'll have the ball more and be able to put on a show, and the Lakers will depend on him more, depending on who they get in return. But yeah, just be wary of all the crap out there. I'm sure you guys know that. I mean, you're smart people, but it is easy to run with things that are kind of crazy, kind of out there. I mean, I've learned over the years, don't react right away. Think about it for 2 seconds, step back, um, and then, make your opinion. And then if you see more and more of the same thing, there's some smoke there, right? So there might be some fire. Um, okay, hold on. Stein just reported something. The agreed trade between Denver and Sacramento to swap Dario Saric for Jonas Valanciunas cannot be made official until Sunday. The Kings still need the trade to go through for salary cap reasons, but the Nuggets' ability to convince Valanciunas to stay in the NBA is TBD. Interesting. That's a weird situation. A lot of weird stuff going on in the NBA lately. Stuff that you just don't see coming. It's I don't. Why wouldn't you want to play with Jokic? Just then again, maybe he's just tired of the NBA grind and moving from team to team all the time. But anyway, I got to get out of here. Got to jump on the RotoWire gig. I'll try and keep up to to speed with this as much as I possibly can and give you my takes and whatever. Take them, leave them, trash them, love them. I don't really care. I just hope you tune in. But until next time, peeps, later.